Hey there, welcome back to the Soul Current. I'm Lisa. Now, last week we talked about something, I got a lot of response from it. It was clearly something that touched a lot of you. And I think for me, I believe it's because so many of us go through it, but very few people have language to really explain it and knowledge to understand it. But it's something I call pre-stirring. And pre-stirring is really that quiet, unsettled feeling that you get when life just seems fine on the outside, but it's inside. It's inside where things feel off. It's not anxious. It's not broken. It's just unsettled. You know, you have the thoughts. I feel like there's more to life. And maybe it's, this just doesn't work for me anymore, and you're having thoughts of boredom, that kind of thing. Pre-stirring is that phase. It's the very first step of your spiritual journey. It's the awareness that's there. It just hasn't moved yet. And what I mean by that is your awareness is now focused on the feeling of restlessness. And that is pre-stirring. It's being aware of the restlessness. But that awareness hasn't moved, meaning you're able to ignore the pre-stirring and carry on with your life as is. Take care of the kids, the house, the job, the husband, everything, and just ignore the silent whisper that's fairly persistent. Today, we are going to talk about what happens next when you cross the threshold from pre-stirring into the stirring. That's where we're at today. Let's go. The stirring is really the phase that starts when awareness stops being quiet and stops being ignored, quite frankly. When you lean in and you go, okay, what is this? What is this feeling? Because I'm tired of the restlessness that's sitting there. You feel the unease. And instead of turning away and ignoring it, you now go, I need to understand what's happening because I just feel like something grander is calling me. And the moment that happens, the moment that you lean in and you pick up the books and you listen to the podcasts or watch the videos, is the moment you have, without realizing it, accepted an invitation. Here's what I want to stop for a moment and just explain. When I was in the pre-stirring, I didn't know. In fact, I came up with the terms pre-stirring and stirring, and that was not language that I had when I was going through my spiritual journey. I found through my own experience that most of these spiritual journeys kind of start us at the awakening phase with the assumption that you know why you're searching. When the reality is so many of us don't. So many of us don't know why we have this inner feeling of restlessness or discontent. So what are those feelings? That's where I wanted to start. And it took a lot of reading and researching and practicing and techniques and exercises and everything else for me to fully understand where I was at the very beginning, what phases I was going through. I then gave them names along with exercises and techniques, with the entire premise being that I was going to be able to provide others with an understanding of where they're at, why they're there, what to expect, and how they can see themselves through it a little bit easier than going through it blind. And so I came up with pre-stirring only after I established the stirring phase. And I came up with stirring because, and we'll go through it, a little bit of it today, the stirring really is that. It is stirring things up inside you, and we're going to get to why and how and everything else. But by that logic, I thought, okay, well, if this is the stirring phase, then the feelings of discontent that we recognize, the feelings of unease, to me, that would then be the pre-stirring phase. It's us becoming aware of our discontent, we cross this invisible threshold into the stirring when we lean in and say, okay, I'm listening. What is this? Well, what I became aware of is that I did not like the thought of discontent. I was very hard on myself. I looked at this and I thought I was being ungrateful. Why can't you just be happy with what you have? This amazing broadcasting career takes you across the country. Great husband, beautiful kid, nice house. Like, what is the matter with you, Lisa? Just be happy with what you have. That judgment made me feel awful, and it really made the process that much worse. It really did, because I didn't have language to understand or knowledge or tools to help see me through what I was going through. But what I did have was an awareness of this feeling. And so for me, I thought, okay, well, if it's just my mind being discontent, well, my mind should be able to go, hey, I don't want that disconnect, and I should be able to cancel it out. And the fact that I couldn't made me question what would inevitably be the very first deep question I had on my spiritual journey, which was, if not my mind, where is this coming from? And over the course of X amount of time, I would learn to realize that what I was hearing was my soul's whisper. In other words, my soul was inviting me into something. And the minute you lean in, that's the movement we're talking about. The minute you lean into that feeling of restlessness is the moment you accept the invitation. So your soul says, hey, can we talk? And you go, sure, I'm listening. And the moment you do that, you need to know what to expect in the stirring phase because it's intense. Memories and emotions that you've buried for years start to surface. You've buried them in your subconscious, and very gently, your soul is going to work to remove them from there and bring them to the surface of your awareness. Why? Because any spiritual journey, the goal of any spiritual journey is alignment and ascension. You can't align, though, when parts of you are misaligned. And your soul knows that. Your soul knows that mind and soul can't align. Soul and spirit can't align. Spirit and mind can't align if there are parts of you misaligned. And so anything you've buried from memories to emotions is going to come up to the surface of your awareness. Old grief, old shame, embarrassment, even moments that you've thought, I'm past that. They pop up, and sometimes, let me tell you, it's not very convenient. It can be while you're standing in line waiting for a coffee, while you're talking to your daughter's teacher. You know, it's really inconvenient when these memories choose to just pop up, but it's normal. And it is exactly what is supposed to happen. Now, we bury things, by the way, because at the time we're going through them, we just know or believe we can't handle them. It's just too much. So we put them aside. And it's actually smart because it's a survival mechanism, right? We want to carry on. We want to get forward. We don't believe we can by addressing these things. Let's be honest. Some experiences in life are awful, grotesque, horrible. And it's just easier to bury them than it is to face them head on. But truth be told, growth and healing, it's not just about moving forward. It's about allowing yourself to become a whole person again. And this stirring phase, it is your inner self, what I call the soul, saying, okay, you're ready now, and we can look at this safely. And some people, myself included, call this the soul's work. It's not punishing you. It's not digging you up. It's just guiding your system to bring what needs attention to the surface so that ultimate goal of alignment that you deserve, by the way, can be achieved. but it helps to know what it feels like and what to expect. So when the stirring happens, you might notice things like sudden waves of emotion. And I talk about this in my book, Soul Shift. I had this wonderful day out. I'll never forget this because I just remember realizing, wow, this is the stirring at play again. I had this wonderful day with my husband and my daughter. We spent the day out down by the beach. It was wonderful. I got home. I was walking to our bedroom before I even made it to the door. This overwhelming sense of grief came over me. I just needed to cry. And I go into my bedroom and I shut my door and I've got these teardrops falling and I don't understand why, but I will tell you, I did have to question whether or not I was like experiencing some level of emotional dysfunction because it just didn't make any sense to me. It just was sudden out of nowhere. You might experience the same thing. And if you do, just know it is a part of the stirring phase. It's all coming to the top, right? Memories appearing from years ago, feelings of grief or shame, regret. A lot of people have regrets, right? Even embarrassment. You've had moments of like profound, and maybe you said something at a wedding you wish you never said, or you just have moments of embarrassment. You never want to think about them. Yeah, get ready. They're going to come to the surface and it's okay. Your soul knows you're ready, okay? You might even think, I thought I dealt with this already. If it's coming to the top, it's okay. You haven't dealt with everything. You need to. It's all normal. You're not breaking, okay? You're just ready to integrate what was actually stored away. That's all that's happening here. Now, you just should know while we sit here talking about so much of what happens through the stirring, what the stirring is not. It is not about fixing anything. You're not having emotions and memories pop up so you can get out there and fix them. That's not what this is about. You don't have to change your thoughts or become more positive or reframe anything. By the way, you also don't have to forgive, okay? Not all memories that you have, I'm aware of this, not all memories that pop up are pleasant. Some deal with abuse, traumatic, awful abuse. Some will deal with trauma. You know, the death of my father was a memory I pushed down so far. Every time it tried to pop up, I covered it with an image of a baby animal because I would have a mini panic attack. Sweaty hands, fanning my face with my hands, heart was racing. I was getting angry at myself every time it would randomly pop up. Think of a baby animal, Lisa, my gosh, just to calm myself down. Not all memories are easy to deal with. I totally get it. But in the stirring phase, your soul knows you are ready for it to come to the surface. And we're going to go through tools and exercises for dealing with memories that might not be so pleasant, okay? The stirring is only about noticing, being present, letting what rises be there. No judgment, no reliving, no fixing. Just let it be there. Let it rise to the surface. So what do you do when that happens? First thing, before anything else, breathe. I often think that this is something that is overlooked, but one of the most profound exercises, in my opinion, that should be at the top of any spiritual journey is breathing. Breathe in for a count of 4 through your nose, pause for 1 or 2, and breathe out through your mouth for 6. Do it 3, 4, 5 times until this wash of calm comes over you. Why? Why do I suggest that? Because these breathing exercises are the number one way to train your nervous system to relax. It's your nervous system that kicks into fight or flight. And the more you can train it to relax by saying, hey, you're safe. I got this. It's okay. The less likely you are to fight or flight and to have those the thoughts spiral out of control. So always start with breathing. Slow down. You don't need to analyze or even explain the memory. All you're going to do is feel it. In other words, the memory pops up. If it's grief, If it's fear, if it's sadness, just let yourself feel just the emotion. You're not narrating it. You're not adding to it. You're not letting your thoughts tell you why the feeling's there. Just the feeling associated with the memory. And once it's there, remind yourself, this is surfacing because my soul knows I can hold it now. That's it. Nothing more. No fixing, no pushing away, no nothing. That's all you need to do right now. When you allow those feelings to rise up, your inner system begins to organize itself naturally. You stop fighting yourself. You stop bracing, right? And over time, things start to feel steadier. I'll tell you, now that the memory of my father has come up, I paused, I breathed. That was the first thing, a lot of breathing. I felt the emotion, but I would remind myself, I'm not there anymore. I'm not in the hospital. This didn't just happen. I'm not in that space anymore. This is just a memory of a moment in time. Now, for me, what worked very well, because I am a very spiritual person, I believe in God profoundly, and it helped me to say, Lord, I don't need this anymore. So please take it and all its attachments from me. And I would just envision handing it to him. And any time after that, the memory popped up, it was never as intense as the first time I decided to allow it into my awareness. It got increasingly less and less powerful. And now it just doesn't pop up. And if you've noticed, I'm able to speak about it with you now without even a tear in my eye. Because this exercise is that powerful and it does work. If you ignore this phase, buried emotions stay buried, misalignment continues, so alignment isn't possible. That's just the reality. This is part of the process and it will always keep trying till you're ready for those memories to come up into your awareness. Alignment does not come from becoming somebody new. It comes just from letting all of you come back together. Even the parts that you just thought were too awful, too messy, or too embarrassing. And by the way, integration with all of this, integration does tend to feel messy before it feels calm. That's perfectly normal. So the stirring phase is quite a powerful, profound, chaotic, and at times disorienting phase. That is true. But if I had had any of this information when I was going through it, I don't think it would have been as disruptive. So my goal and my hope is that I'm giving you this information so you can walk into it going, okay, I got some tools here. I'm ready for your memories. Give it your best shot. Sometimes journaling helps. You can write down the memory that came up, the emotion that was identified with it, but the whole goal of the stirring is to notice and listen. You're not trying to fix or analyze or relive. Just notice and listen and keep saying that to yourself. Write it down somewhere. Notice and listen. That's all you are required to do. So in the next episode, we're going to talk about noticing your thoughts instead of being inside your thoughts. What does that mean? It's pretty cool when you can realize this. Noticing the emotions that your thoughts create. Why is this important? We're going to talk about all of that. All I want you to do now, until we talk again next week, is notice, feel, and allow. Again, feel free to journal. Make sure you breathe. Breathing exercise is your one superpower right now, okay? Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to talking to you again next week. And I love that I'm a part of your spiritual journey. I'll see you next time. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel, The Soul Current Podcast with Lisa. Over there, we have guided meditations, guided visualizations, some journal entry suggestions, daily exercises you can use to help keep you on track and see you through the movements and experiences you're going through. That's The Soul Current Podcast with Lisa on YouTube. Thanks for listening.